Welcome to the Recruiting Mindset. My goal is to give athletes who are going through the recruiting process a chance to chat with athletes who have already finished their recruiting journey. Today, I'm sitting down with RJ Johnson. RJ, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. Hopefully, giving some advice to future athletes and things like that. But let's first take it back to when you first started playing basketball. So obviously basketball is your sport. So when did you first start playing that?
I started playing as early as I can remember. Probably say around the age of 4. My dad put every ball in my hand: basketball, baseball, football. So I play a lot of sports growing up, and basketball was one of the ones that I continue to fall in love with.
Awesome, awesome. So you mentioned playing multiple sports. Was there ever a time growing up where you knew you wanted to focus primarily on basketball?
Around kind of around my freshman year of high school. I mean, I still played football in high school and baseball my freshman year, but really going into high school, I knew I really wanted to put my all into basketball and play at the next level. So
Mhm.
that's what I did. And, my dad broke it to me straight. He's like, you're going to have to work hard to do that. So that's what it was.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel like playing multiple sports helped you be a better athlete?
Most definitely. I feel like football helped me a lot just with my strength and my body, especially coming in as a freshman. I feel like I was ahead of the curve uh, in front of other freshmen in terms of lifting weights, being strong, holding my own. And then baseball, the coordination of it, the timing, the hand-eye coordination, as I said before. So I feel like both those things really helped me in basketball, and I'm extremely grateful that I played those other sports, and my dad, allowed me to do that.
Hmm. Absolutely. And so you mentioned being a multi-sport athlete in high school. What high school did you go to?
Charlotte Latin, Charlotte Latin High School, go Hawks.
Yep. Quick shout out. And where are
Uh,
you currently playing basketball?
I'm at the College of Holy Cross. I'm a freshman year. I just finished up my freshman year, went well and everything. So I'm blessed to be here.
Great, great. Well, that's great to hear. It had a good first year. I'm sure this year didn't look like a normal freshman year, but I'm glad you
Right.
had a good one. I'm glad you're able to be on campus too as well. That's always a plus.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Well, when did you know that you were going to be able to take basketball to the next level?
I always felt like I could play at the next level. It was just about what level it was going to be at. Um, so around my junior year, I kind of began to get more confident in my ability to play at the Division I level. But I mean, my first 2 years, my freshman and sophomore year, I had no idea. I was small. I was still growing, but I just continued to work. And I knew Division I was the level that I wanted to play at, and I just continued to work as I said before, and God put me here.
Hmm. And what advice were you given from like coaches or your dad or trainers that helped you kind of know, keep working, keep getting better, you can take it to the next level?
Right. I have to thank my dad a lot. Everything he said up until this point has come true. I don't know how. He just knew. But I just always the biggest advice for me was just running your own race. I feel like now, a lot of people try to compare themselves to other people, but you can't do that. You have to focus on your path, and it might be slower, it might be faster than other people, but just continue to work on you. Continue to be smart about how you're working. Watch other people, learn from them, listen, and be open to new people, new things, new ideas, and just continue to grow. And I've carried that with me all the way up to now, and it's got me here. So
Hmm. Yeah, the comparison chain is certainly hard to do, especially with social media
social media,
and
yeah,
yeah, the prevalence of all of like the recruiting shout outs and things like that. So,
right.
what advice would you give to people who may feel like they're trapped in that comparison chain?
Get off of it. That's what I did. Just get off of social media. Take it out of your eyesight. Take it out of your mind, and really just lock in on what do I have to do to get to where I want to go. and then the mental side of it. Do whatever you need to do to get that competitive edge. For me, comparing was never an issue for me. I actually use social media to fuel me. So I would see guys that I feel like I was better than, like, oh, he got this, he got that. Okay, next time we play them, I'm gonna make sure that I go out there, give him 20, give him 30, whatever it was. So just knowing, having enough self-awareness to know, what's really affecting you and what's not, and going off of that. But if social media is something that affects you, I just say get off of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and having that confidence in yourself, your abilities to be able to match up to some of those players that are maybe getting that recognition, and then knowing, okay, I have an opportunity to show that on the court next time, so let me do that.
Yeah, exactly.
When did you get your first offer, and who was it from?
Got my first offer in July, the summer after my junior year, so going into my senior year, I want to say, from VMI, Virginia Military Institution, or Institute, I'm not sure. It's in the Southern Conference with Wofford, East Tennessee State, and other schools like that. So.
Mm-hmm. And did getting that first offer change anything for you as far as your mindset?
I think it's just something I worked so hard for. I remember getting in the car and crying with my dad. I was like the last time I can remember crying. Really, it was really emotional. But from then on, I was just like, dang, I can really do this. I can play at this level. There's Division I staff that believes in me, and I think it just gave me an extra boost of confidence. And I don't want to say I changed the way I carry myself, but I feel like, again, it just gave me an extra kick of confidence, and that I can do this. And it was motivational. It was like, shoot, if I can get them, try to get more, and climb and just continue to get better.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, okay, I got the first one. Let me see how far I can go.
Right.
Good. And what were some things that you were looking for in schools? Was it location, characteristics of the school, or coaches? What were some things that you were particularly paying attention to?
Relationship with the coaches was big, obviously. You're just going to be with them a lot. So relationship with the coaches and the players, that was important on, the visits that I took. The academic side of things, that's where my mom comes in. My dad too, but especially my mom. The academics got to be strong, because the ball stops one day. And then location wasn't too big. Obviously, I'm far away from home, so I was pretty much open to that. But the system too. I think a lot of people don't really watch, how that team plays, and knowing what your strengths and your weaknesses are, and how you would fit into whatever system that is, because college can be very systematic. So, understanding the vision that they have for you, and making sure they're being honest and truthful about it. So those were the big things for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a lot about relationships, it sounds like, with even like your teammates, with the system that you're going to, and the coaches, and developing some of those relationships a little bit better is obviously important to you.
Yeah, for sure. It's big time. I'm glad I looked so much into that, because I didn't even realize how much time you spend with them. You're with your team a lot. So if those relationships aren't strong, if you're not comfortable where you're at, it's hard to really be yourself and enjoy where you're at. And I think that's why a lot of kids end up transferring, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like you get an automatic new family, right?
Right. No, exactly. It really is.
Yeah. Well, as you said earlier, you officially decided on the College of Holy Cross. So what led into that decision, and when did you make it?
I made it in January, my senior year, towards the end of the season. Why, you asked? It was just perfect at the time. I visited. I loved it. I loved the campus. It's a beautiful campus. I had a great relationship with the players. Big shout out to Austin Butler. He was my host, and we kicked it off early. The guys I met were cool. Ryan Wade, all those guys were good. The coaching staff was upfront with me. They were honest. They said I had an opportunity to come in and play right away, if I did what I was supposed to do. But we also had 5 other freshmen, so the opportunity was there, and then the academics are second to none. And the College of Holy Cross also has a great alumni network, so it kind of checked all my boxes. Aside from being far away from home, it's cold up here, but uh, the good outweighs the bad. So.
Yeah. Good, good. Well, that is fantastic. I'm glad that you did find another home and, as we mentioned, another family too that you're spending so much time with. And I love that you are so open to like shouting out people as well. People have helped kind of get you to where you are, help you make that decision. And I think that shows the importance of having a team around you as well during the recruiting process.
No, it's extremely important. Relationships are big, especially in sports. Coaches, players, those are lifelong relationships that you can carry even after basketball is over with. There's people I'm close with now just from sports, families, family friends. So that stuff's extremely important, and I wouldn't be here without the relationships I've made. And I'm truly blessed to come across the people that I've come across. So it is what it is.
Great. Well, you mentioned some differences with college basketball and high school basketball, whether it's looking at the system, how much time you're spending together. So what were some of the biggest differences that you noticed going into college basketball that you didn't realize even as an incoming freshman before you got there?
I think the big two that people talk about, especially when you're in high school, is the speed of the game and physicality. For me, the speed of the game wasn't anything that really bothered me, but the physicality was especially different. Guys are bigger, guys are longer. The same moves that might have worked in high school might not work here. And then, on the floor, just really communicating for me. That was something big that coaches really harped on, was talking. I thought I was a big talker in high school, but, they told me to talk even more. And I'm not the biggest rah-rah guy, but, when practice time comes, and being a point guard, being a leader, you got to talk, you got to communicate, you have to be loud, and kind of knowing how to approach different guys on the floor. Some guys you may be able to yell at, other guys you might need to, take them to the side and talk to them like that. So, understanding how guys tick, and you're able to do that again from building relationships off the floor. So, those are a couple of things that I learned coming into college. And then the time management off the floor with school and everything, working ahead in the classroom is something that's going to help you, especially when you have games, you're missing class, with practices, walkthroughs, things like that, traveling. It wasn't as bad this year because of COVID, but I know that next year it'll be like that. So, staying ahead in the classroom, talking to your teachers and things like that. But those are things that, the coaching staff here helps us with a lot. They're great, great people. Again, I'm blessed to be where I'm at. But those are the main things that, I kind of noticed that's different from high school in college.
Mm-hmm. And as the point guard of your team, how do you take advantage of learning about those teammates, how to interact with them, how to talk to them, whether it's, they can handle yelling or take them to the side? What are some tips that you use to get to know players in that manner, especially as like the floor general of your team?
Yeah. I think I don't know. I think I have a natural gift for it, honestly. But off the floor, just being around guys. I'm a guy too that doesn't like to go out a lot, but when I'm with my team, I like to spend time with them. But just really talking, getting to know guys. Where they're from. Are they from a less fortunate area? Are they from a fortunate place? What culture are they from? What are their peoples like? Their family, things like that. Asking them, really getting to know people, really building relationships. And when you do that, confrontation is easier. Because if your relationship is tighter, then when I'm yelling at you or I'm telling you, hey, you need to do this better, it's not taken as personal, or they're not too sensitive towards it. We're both being two grown young men, and we're talking it out. So I feel like once you build those relationships off the floor, going out to eat, playing games, whatever it is, those things carry on to the floor, and that's important, especially for winning games at this level.
Mm-hmm. So again, coming back to developing those relationships, and definitely, just as you said, like spending time with people, but getting to know people is more than just a basketball player. It helps to know who their identity is outside of the court.
Exactly.
Well, you mentioned the differences between high school and college. Were there any similarities or even like expectations that you thought of coming to college that were actually true or came true?
Yeah, the physicality, as I said, I heard of that and it was true. Um, Trying to think of something else. I think defensively, I didn't understand how much energy you had to exert into both ends of the floor. High school, I think a lot of guys think they're playing hard or playing defense, but they're really not. There's a lot of more rotations and things that you have to know at the next level, and you have to be there. Dropping down and getting the second pass, things like that don't happen in high school because players aren't as good at every position. So really locking in on that, and then game plan, something big that I heard about going into college. Just really knowing the scout, knowing what a guy does. Does he like to drive left? Does he like to drive right? Can he shoot threes? Can he not? Is he a guy we can help off of? Things like that. So, but yeah, those are kind of the main things that I heard about going into college that were most definitely true.
Awesome. So now that you are a collegiate athlete, you officially finished your recruiting journey. What advice would you have for those high school athletes who are hoping to play at the next level?
Continue to work hard, but work smart. Work on what you need to work on. At the end of the day, as I said before, don't compare yourself to other people, but also have fun. During my process, I feel like sometimes I was putting a little too much pressure on myself, but it's important to have fun during those years. You're young, you're in high school, enjoy your time. Don't be one of those kids who doesn't go to prom because they want to be in the gym or something. No, go to prom, go to those dances. Still enjoy your high school experiences, but still get in the gym. And then another thing is as I said before, build relationships. That stuff's important. It can help you in recruiting big time. Just knowing people, connecting dots. That's how opportunities can come and doors can open for yourself. So, and always be a good person. Have a good character. People are gonna remember you for the person you are, not the basketball player you are. They're gonna remember how you treat them and how they felt when they were talking to you. So, I feel like those things are extremely important, especially during this process. There's a lot more to it than just a game of basketball.
Right. And you never know who's in the gym or who you're going to interact with or
Right.
network with. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, those 8 a.m. games, play hard. You don't know who's watching. It might seem like nobody's there. Just keep playing. I promise you, there's cameras everywhere. This thing called synergy. It gets every game. So just play hard. Compete.
Yep.
Always compete.
And especially during COVID, when even more games are streamed, you have no idea who's watching.
Right. It's a bunch of eyes. Technology now is crazy.
Good. Are there any tools that you learned in high school that you feel have been really helpful in college? So whether it's basketball related or being a student athlete, any tools that you feel like help translate well to your collegiate career?
Academically, shout out Latin again. I feel like that school was great in terms of preparing me for college. Just how to balance work. It was a college prep type of school, college level classes. So that was good for me coming in here. I haven't struggled too much on the academic side of things. In terms of basketball, I just have to thank Coach Berger, my head coach, Coach McCarthy, for those guys just allowing me to grow and make mistakes and be myself. I feel like a lot of kids try to get in situations where they're not able to grow, but those two men right there allowed me to grow and become into the player that I am today. So I learned a lot from them on both ends of the floor, and I'm extremely thankful to play for him.
Good, good. Well, RJ, thank you so much for sharing your tips and your journey and things like that along the way. If people want to follow along with you on social media, where can they find you?
On Instagram, fmg.rj1. On Twitter, randyj_1. And that's about all you get. Instagram and Twitter.
A lot of number ones I see.
Oh, yeah. Gotta rip the one.
Awesome. And I am at the Mental Peak. Thank you so much for tuning in.